Sparta, like the mythical phoenix, rose from the ashes of the bloody Peloponnesian War to establish its hegemony over Hellas. 3 decades of relentless struggle against Athens left an indelible mark, tens of thousands of lives were cut short, and countless others had their fates shattered. Victory came at an exorbitant price. Sparta, once insular and averse to conflicts beyond its borders, transformed into an empire whose dominion extended far beyond the Laconian peninsula. Far from the militaristic utopia it once espoused, Sparta was forced to adapt to the harsh realities of prolonged warfare, leading to radical shifts in its military and political strategy. Despite its triumph, Sparta's dominance remained precarious. The losses among the Spartiates were colossal, their numbers dwindling to a critical level. Whereas during the Persian Wars Sparta could field an army of 10,000 hoplites, by various historical estimates, their number now barely reached 2,000. With too few warriors and too many obligations, many questioned whether Sparta could maintain its grip on power and how long its supremacy would last. Could this battle-hardened city-state overcome the internal and external threats looming over it? The answer lay in the unfolding events, full of intrigue and unexpected turns of fate. This article will analyze how the once formidable Sparta steadily declined, facing a series of tragic events and fatal errors that ultimately led to the downfall of this legendary polis. In 404 BC, Sparta's triumph over Athens proved to be a Pyrrhic victory. Athens was forced to abandon its democracy and submit to the rule of the 30 tyrants, an oligarchic regime supported by Spartan force. Under the leadership of the brutal Critias and the more moderate Theramenes, Athenian society was torn apart. According to some sources, approximately 1,500 Athenians were executed without trial, primarily political opponents and wealthy citizens who posed a threat to the new regime. The rule of the tyrants imposed on Athens proved short-lived. Within just 8 months, a group of Athenian exiles led by Thrasybulus launched a revolt, inflicting a crushing defeat on the Spartan-backed rulers at the Battle of Munichia and triumphantly restoring democracy in Athens. This humiliating defeat foreshadowed future troubles for Spartan hegemony. Their influence in Athens was undermined, marking the beginning of a period of decline and precarious standing. Soon after, the Persian and Corinthian wars followed, plunging Sparta into a maelstrom of conflicts. Sparta, once a powerful land-based power that shunned expansion, was compelled to defend its distant Greek allies. The Ionian Greeks of Anatolia, long under Persian rule, appealed to Sparta for aid and protection. In 396 BC, King Agesilaus II led an expedition into Anatolia, but this undertaking proved to be a complete failure. Spartan forces were unable to adapt to the tactics of Persian cavalry, and political support from Sparta steadily waned. Ultimately, the campaign failed, and Spartan troops were shamefully recalled home. Upon their return to Greece, Sparta's former allies, namely Athens, Thebes, Corinth, and Argos, united to challenge its growing power and influence. With generous financial backing from Persia, they launched the Corinthian War, which proved a true test for Sparta. Sparta, exhausted by previous conflicts and campaigns, faced fierce and overwhelming resistance. The war resulted in significant losses for Sparta, including the death of the renowned general Lysander at the Battle of Haliartus and the complete destruction of the Spartan fleet at Cnidus. Despite fierce fighting and displayed courage, Sparta never managed to secure a decisive victory. Eventually, the Persian king Artaxerxes II brokered the King's Peace, a treaty that obliged Greek city-states to remain independent, effectively ending Spartan dominance and hegemony. Sparta lost its aura of invincibility, and its military might was called into question. Thebes, once a loyal ally of Sparta, rose against its hegemony and began to plot its overthrow. In 371 BC, under the brilliant command of Epaminondas, the Thebans confronted Sparta at the Battle of Leuctra. In this battle, which sent shockwaves throughout the Greek world, Epaminondas employed innovative tactics, strengthening his left flank to 50 ranks deep against the Spartan phalanx, which numbered only 18 ranks. The outcome was catastrophic for Sparta. Over 400 Spartiates, including King Cleombrotus I, fell on the battlefield, staining the ground with their blood. The myth of Spartan invincibility was finally and irrevocably shattered, and Spartan hegemony collapsed under the Theban assault. Following the crushing defeats inflicted by the Thebans, Sparta's horizons were overshadowed by the twilight of its former glory. The Theban warriors, not content with their achievements, invaded Sparta's ancestral lands and granted freedom to the long-suffering population of Messenia, who were helots. This act of liberation dealt a fatal blow to Sparta's economic and military machine, depriving it of vital resources and manpower. Furthermore, the formation of the Arcadian League and an anti-Spartan coalition further eroded Sparta's standing on the political stage. However, after the tragic death of Epaminondas at the Battle of Mantinea in 362 BC, Thebes' brief ascendancy also waned. The Greek world, exhausted by decades of incessant wars and conflicts, inexorably weakened itself. Sparta, reduced to a mere shadow of its former greatness, gradually faded into the annals of history, leaving behind only memories of its past might. During the rise of Macedon under Philip II and later Alexander the Great, Sparta's decline continued at an inexorable pace. When Macedon established its control over Greece, it bypassed Sparta, no longer considering it a serious threat. By the time Greece was absorbed into the Roman Empire, Sparta had become a relic of the past, a symbol of a bygone era. Retaining only a minor degree of local autonomy under Roman rule, it remained a mere imitation of its former glory, stripped of its past grandeur and influence. Sparta's downfall was not the result of a single event, but rather a succession of tragic errors, crushing defeats, and internal strife that ultimately led to its complete collapse. Once a dominant power, Sparta now serves as an enduring reminder that even the mightiest empires can crumble if their foundations are not maintained and strengthened. And while the legend of Sparta continues to live on through the ages, its history serves as a cautionary tale for future generations, narrating how even the greatest warrior society can fall under the weight of its own mistakes and contradictions.